Do you feel that there are people out there who depend on you so greatly that they would actually be willing to say, I can't afford to lose you? I can't afford to lose you as a friend. I can't afford to lose you as a spouse. I can't afford to lose you as a business partner. I can't afford to lose you as an employee. Have you grown enough personally and professionally where people could actually say that?
Get ready to be amazed. Get ready to be transformed. Get ready to believe it is possible. You're entering the growth zone on the Guts and Glory Show with your host, Louise Scott.
How many times do I have to say it? How many times do I have to say it? The speed of growth is tied to the speed of implementation. Hey guys, welcome to the Guts and Glory Show, a show dedicated to helping you learn just a little more so that you can be bigger and better than you were before. We're really excited to have you today joining us talking about this topic that I think is so critical to you growing in your life, and that is this concept of success is growth. Many years ago, I heard this speech by a gentleman at a conference, and he talked about how success was goals. And he mentioned how you have to have success in different areas of your life. So you have to set goals in different areas of life. You needed to set a spiritual goal. You need to set an emotional goal. You need to set a relational goal. You need to set a physical goal. You need to set a financial goal. You needed to set a professional goal. And I think that is so true, that setting goals is critical to your success overall. But one of the phrases that I have is that the speed of growth is tied to the speed of implementation. And so it's not just about setting goals. It's about setting goals for which you are going to take action. And taking action is what ultimately leads to success. Without action, nothing is possible. With action, everything is possible. And I guess everything is possible maybe with some sort of limitation, because I've been trying to dunk a basketball on a 10-foot rim my entire life, and I can't do it. I'm 5'10", but there are people out there who are 5'10" and can dunk a basketball. So I guess to the extent that you go and work on your ability to dunk a basketball, anything is possible. But I want to talk about this concept of success not being goals, but rather success being growth. Because I believe if you are going to have success in your life, you have to grow, because growth is the process of increasing. And so if you want to have success in your marriage, you have to increase the connection and the intimacy with your marriage. If you want to have success in your professional life, you have to increase your professional skills and knowledge. If you want to have success in your financial life, you have to increase your ability to manage money and to grow. And I think that one of the problems that many people have with growing is that they don't commit to the intentional act of growing. And growth is not something that's going to happen accidentally. I recently heard this podcast where the guy said that success is not a straight line. And so this idea that you are going to somehow accidentally land on the line of success is virtually impossible. You will not land on the line of success without some level of intentionality. And so if you want to have success in your life, if you want to be more in your life, you want to do more, you want to have more in your life, you have to grow. And if you want to grow, you have to be intentional. And I think that understanding this concept that I need to grow, like it is a necessity for me to grow in my physical health if I want to have a long and healthy life. Is it a necessity for me to grow intellectually if I want to be able to communicate properly and I want to be able to have conversations at a higher level. And so what we need to do is we need to focus on what the intentional actions are that are going to help us grow. What are the areas that we need to be intentional in? And I'm going to talk to you about 4 primary areas that you need to grow in. And this is whether you are an employee or you're an entrepreneur. This can apply in any context of your life, whether you're in a religious ministry or you're in a business or you're just in some sort of club sport. There are 4 necessities to growth where you need to be intentional, and you need to create the process of increasing in these areas if you want to be successful. The first place is that you have to start is the personal growth. And I think personal growth is the prerequisite for almost anything in your life. You know, personal growth, that's the process of an individual becoming aware of the self in its entirety. And then you have to follow it by taking steps to address the behavior, attitudes, values, actions, habits that you wish to change. And so we have a lot of things that we call, they're blind spots. We have a lot of blind spots that we don't see in ourselves, that we don't see in others. And getting rid of those blind spots or putting up mirrors so that we can see the blind spots is critical in personal growth. And one of the things that I have done personally to grow is I've spent a lot of time reading. And if you've heard some of my other works and podcasts and videos, you know that I am fully dedicated to this concept of reading. And I spent a lot of time reading. I spent a lot of time watching videos on YouTube. I spent a lot of time listening to podcasts. I've spent a lot of time attending conferences. I think in the last 15, 18 years, I've read over 300 books, 3,000 hours of motivational videos, and I've attended over 80 conferences because I wanted to grow. You know, I've said this before that I have a personal vision statement of leading a life of significance. To me, the greatest fear, and if you're listening to this and you think, man, that's me too, I just want you to know I can identify you. But the greatest fear for me is being forgotten, is being totally transparent, totally vulnerable right now. I don't want to be forgotten. I don't want to be one of the 70 billion people who have lived and died on this earth that nobody knows about. I don't want to be that person. You know, I think of the movie The Gladiator, where he says, what you do today may it echo in eternity. What you do today, may it echo in eternity. And I do want my life to be meaningful. I want my life to echo in eternity, but I don't want to be forgotten. I love the movie Coco. And in that movie, the reason that the guy can't come from the other side on the Day of the Dead was because somebody didn't put his picture on the mantle. And in order for you to come from the other side on the Day of the Dead, is one of my favorite Disney movies. You have to have your picture on the mantle, meaning somebody has to remember you enough to put you on the mantle. And when I think about my life, I want to be remembered for a long time. Now, some people say that, well, that's a selfish thing. That's an ego thing. It's not really an ego thing. None of us know what happens on the other side of eternity, on the other side of this life. None of us know. But what I do know is that while I'm here on this side of the earth, I want my life to be meaningful enough to someone to remember me. And so I've spent a lot of my life trying to personally grow so that I can be the best me that I can be, the best father that I can be, the best spouse that I can be, the best business partner I can be, the best employer, the best boss, the best podcaster, the best writer, the best speaker. I want my life to be meaningful. And if you want success in your life, you have to commit to personal growth. You have to commit to getting yourself up every single day and saying, how can I be better today than I was yesterday? How can I be more inspirational today? How can I be more motivated today? How can I be more influential today? How can I be better today than yesterday? In fact, that's one of our core values in our law firm. It's make today better than yesterday. It's so critical that we get up every single morning and we try to make something better of ourselves. We're 1 in 7 billion people right now. But the fact of the matter is you're still an important person in your sphere of influence, in your network. People are depending on you, whether it's your kids, your spouse, your friends, your uncles, your aunts, your cousins. Somebody is depending on your success for them to have the inspiration and motivation to become successful themselves. And so if you want to be successful, the first necessity is you must dedicate your life to personal growth. I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm not going to say that there's a direct line between personal growth and you becoming everything you want to become in your life. But what I do know is that the lack of personal growth will keep you enslaved in whatever state that you're in right now. Will keep you with the attitudes and the values and the actions and the habits that you no longer desire in your life. It will keep you in a constant state of dissatisfaction.
This show has been brought to you by 8-Figure Firm Consulting. At 8-Figure Firm, we help law firms turn into law businesses. Stop wasting your time with gurus who've never built a successful business. At 8-Figure Firm, we'll show you how to unleash the power of your law firm for personal and financial freedom. For more information, go to 8figurefirm.com. Welcome back to the Guts and Glory Show with your host, Louis Scott.
And I love John Maxwell when he says, and I may be paraphrasing this, but I believe that this is kind of what the phrase was, but the only way to guarantee that tomorrow will be better than today is to grow. That's the only way to guarantee it. You have to be committed to personal growth. The second necessity in your life is you have to be committed to professional growth. Now, sometimes we confuse personal growth and professional growth because personal growth does lead to professional growth. If you become more educated, more intellectual, better communicator, better speaker, you're likely going to grow professionally. But professional growth is the focus of improving the knowledge and skills that improve your potential in a work environment. And so these are the skills that make you more efficient and effective at your job. There's one thing to read 300 books and 1080 conferences and 3,000 hours of videos and to grow myself personally and to be a better networker and a better salesperson. And there's another thing to be in my profession or my business as an employee or as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, and improve my skill set. And so when I was thinking about being a lawyer, I had to improve my skill set professionally. Yes, I was reading the books that made me, feel smarter and more confident. But what was I doing to become a better lawyer in the courtroom? What was I doing to become a better legal assistant when I was supporting my lawyer? And now as an entrepreneur, what am I doing every single day to become a better entrepreneur? How am I becoming bigger and better in what I do? What mentoring am I getting? What consulting am I getting? What coaching am I receiving? What lessons am I studying? What reflections am I making in my professional life? How am I becoming a better boss? How am I becoming a better communicator with my staff? And you should be asking yourself this question. How are you becoming better with your colleagues and coworkers? Or are you just coming into work every single day and saying, I hate this job and I don't want to be here and I don't want to make a difference and I don't want to be efficient and I don't want to be effective? If you do that, you're likely going to go from job to job to job to job to job, or from business to business to business to business to business, failing at every moment of your life. And I do believe that failure is a part of growth in life. Yes, you should you should fail forward. You should fall back and get back up again. But when you're failing because you intentionally refuse to grow yourself professionally, that's not the way you fail to success. The way you fail to success is that you work hard and you grind and you grow and you grow and you grow professionally and you fail, but you're growing and you're being intentional about your life. You're not just letting it pass by. And I think so many of us just let life pass by. If we want success in life, we have to be willing to grow professionally. I heard something this morning on a podcast I was listening to that talked about how there is an exponential factor to success. As you start growing, your success starts snowballing and starts growing faster and faster and faster and faster. And that's why you'll hear billionaires and many millionaires who will say, if I lost everything, I would just do it again. And I would just do it again. I would just do it again. And they would do it faster and faster and faster. And I've even looked at my own life where I spent the first 15, 17 years of my life trying to gain success, even though many people thought I was successful, but I was trying to become successful. And now in the last 3 or 4 years of my life, that success is being not only added onto, it's not just addition, it's being multiplied in ways I could have never imagined. And so what we want to do is we want to grow ourselves so that we can get to that point of critical mass, that critical speed where we start creating an exponential factor in our life, not just personally, but also professionally. And so you want to grow yourself personally, but you want to grow yourself professionally so that you are growing in the job skills of your life. So that people who are around you, if you're in a business and you have a partnership where your partner's saying, I can't go without this person. I can't afford to lose this person. That's what you want to, that's the type of life you want to live. You want to live the type of life where professionally people say, I can't afford to lose this person. I can't afford to not have this person working for me. I can't afford to lose this employee. I can't afford to lose you. That's what you want to hear. That's what you want to hear from your partners. That's what you want to hear in your relationships. That's what you want to hear from your colleagues and your coworkers. That's what you want to hear from your boss. I can't afford to lose you. And I ask you this question, do you feel that way? Do you feel that there are people out there who depend on you so greatly that they would actually be willing to say, I can't afford to lose you? I can't afford to lose you as a friend. I can't afford to lose you as a spouse. I can't afford to lose you as a business partner. I can't afford to lose you as an employee. Have you grown enough personally and professionally where people could actually say that? If you can't, you have room and space to grow. The third necessity is emotional growth. You have to start to grow emotionally. I mean, I am getting to the point right now where it's just sickening how much people project. People project their insecurities and their emotions all the time. It's as if they have no awareness that they're projecting. I don't know how many times I've had an employee come to me and say, a lot of people, they feel like the morale is down around the office. And then when I go and find out, the morale's not down at all. The only person the morale is down for is the person who said it. And that person ends up quitting 2-3 weeks, 2-3 months later. People project so bad because of a lack of emotional growth. They believe that because they believe something, that everyone believes something. It's projection. And emotional growth, it's the process of improving your emotional regulation. It's a skill that helps you regulate the life experiences, and it helps you increase your emotional intelligence. Now, self-regulation is a really important thing. I have two boys, and one of them suffers a little bit with a lack of self-regulation. What we mean by that is he has some uncontrollable outburst. And what I will tell you is we're hoping that as he matures, he gets better at controlling his outbursts. But he has an emotional regulation problem. And here's the funny thing. I guess maybe this is not funny. This is sad. Funny is probably the wrong word there. This is very sad. There are adults right now going through life, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 60-year-old adults who have difficulty regulating their emotional state. They have difficulty truly, truly, truly distinguishing between moments where they should be angry or sad and moments where they should be calm and collected. One of the things that I love, I actually love this sort of praise when people say, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, you always look calm and collected. That's emotional regulation. That's the ability to regulate how you're feeling. 4 parts of emotional regulation. It's being able to manage your emotions, being able to understand your emotions, being able to use your emotions, and being able to perceive your emotions. I didn't come up with that. I don't know exactly where I came up with those 4 bullet points, but you have to be able to manage your emotions. You can't just have outbursts. If you ever remember the movie with the characters Inside Out, I think it was the name of the movie, where the girl has all of her emotions are inside of her, and there's this angry emotion, and he just has an outburst every time something doesn't go his way. You have to learn how to manage your emotions. You have to learn how to understand why you're feeling a certain way and use it for your benefit and not to your detriment. Because people who tend to be viewed as super emotional tend to be considered unreliable, not dependable, inconsistent. Who wants to be around somebody who is constantly going to blow up? You don't know how they're going to react. You don't know how they're going to be. You don't know what their response is going to be to anything. Nobody wants to be around you. And so if you want to grow, if you want to have more success in life, you have to learn how to regulate your emotions, and you have to learn how to use them in a proper way. It's not always the right time to be angry. It's not always the right time to be upset. It's not always the right time to cry. Sometimes it's the time to be stoic, where you can really pour out your heart and be transparent and vulnerable. And I'm not talking about hiding emotions. And I don't really want to get into the psychology of your emotional state, because that's not what this is for. What I'm talking about is wherever you are, if your baseline is 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6, wherever you are, helping your body and your mind regulate your emotions to where you increase, because remember, growth is a process of increasing, where you increase your emotional state. So you're more likely to be viewed as successful and less likely to be viewed as emotional. And so that's the third necessity in life, is you want to be able to grow emotionally. And the last place to grow is you got to grow with your team. Now, this is an interesting one. You may be an entrepreneur. You say, well, who's my team? Everyone you employ. You may be an employee and say, who's my team? Everyone you work with. We cannot do anything in life without a team. And this is something for a really long time that I did not really understand. And I think it's something that I recently started better understanding. And that was, we depend on so many people that we don't know, that we've never even thought about, for our success. For instance, I currently have a building. We have about 45,000, 50,000 square feet. I didn't build this building. I didn't put the electrical in. I didn't put the water in. I didn't create the bathrooms. But I depend on people I don't even know who created this building for my success. They created this building before I even knew about the building. Did they create it for me? No, but they created it for someone, and I happen to consume that space. And so I need to be thankful for the team that created this building. And to be thankful for the team of people who created the road so I could get here. And to be thankful for the team of people who created the car so that I could drive. And to be thankful for the team of people who create the opportunities that allow me to thrive in this environment. Because there are a lot of places where the roads and the buildings and the opportunities do not exist. And the very fact that you could get up this morning and even listen to a podcast while driving down the road, or maybe in your home, or maybe with headphones that are wireless, the fact that you can even listen to a podcast is a blessing. And you need to learn to grow in your team. You need to grow in your team. Recently I was looking at something called the two-horse carriage. And you can look this up, and I may say the number wrong, but just know the spirit of what I'm about to say is correct. One horse could carry a certain weight, let's say 10 miles, or it was like 7 miles or something like that. The 2 horses can carry that same weight, not double, but quadruple. So imagine a horse could carry a certain weight for 10 miles. Two horses could carry the same weight, not for 10 miles, but for 40 miles. That's the exponential part of having a team. And team growth is all about aligning the members for one common goal through a shared responsibility. So you have to be a good team member. You have to be a better team member when you show up to the office. You know, as an owner of the firm, the law firm and both 8-figure firm consulting, I never lose sight of the fact that it requires a team for us to be successful. It requires a team for us to get ahead. It requires a team for us to do better. We are all dependent on a team. See, because we're not independent beings, we're interdependent beings. And so if we want to grow and we want to be successful, we have to be thankful and grow in our team mindset. We have to align ourselves with other people who can help us in reaching a common goal, and through shared responsibility, get to a place where we can become better. Now, I know one of the reasons that people don't grow is because they have fear or denial, pride, defensiveness. They don't want to take responsibility, lack of self-discipline, lack of motivation, and lack of goals. But I'm here to tell you right now that if you do not overcome that fear, if you do not become real about who you are and where you are, if you do not remove your ego, if you don't stop being defensive, if you don't create goals or create the motivation and the self-discipline, you're going to have a hard time succeeding in life. And I mentioned earlier that the exponential factor of growth and success is more growth and success. Well, the opposite is true. The exponential factor of failure and lack of success and lack of financial and personal success is more lack. And so if you are finding yourself right now wondering, how do I get myself motivated? How do I find the discipline? How do I create the goals? How do I do these things? Just think about the fact that every day that you wait to do any of these things is another day that you're preventing yourself from creating the exponential effect that you need in order to be successful, that you need in order to receive the benefit that you want. And so if you want to grow, you have to be committed to these 4 necessities: the personal, the professional, the emotional, and the team. And with those 4 things, you can become anything you can think of, and you can have anything that you desire in life. But you have to be willing to grow, and growth requires intentionality. And the speed of growth is tied to the speed of implementation. So go out there and just do more.
You've been listening to the Guts and Glory Show. For more, and to learn more about Luis, hit the website at luisscottjr.com. For consulting opportunities, hit 8figurefirm.com. That's the number 8figurefirm.com. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and we'll see you next time on the Guts and Glory Show.